Hey guys, Charles from Haltz Boots here, and today we are doing a full unboxing and on-foot review of the Puma Future Ultimate Tricks in the MG sole plate. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and unbox these Puma Future Ultimates, and this is the Tricks pack. So it's the part of the, I wouldn't say remakes, but kind of remakes of when they used to do the one boot, one color, one boot, the other color. And if you take a look here, we do have this really nice vibrant pink slash this like yellow green here. And then if we get the second boot out, you can see that it has the, it's the same colors, it's just swapped. So the same thing with the Puma Ultra Ultimates, they were blue and pink. These are like blue and purplish. These are like a hot pink with a, kind of like a brighter yellow almost. So, and then everything is just swapped. So everything from these tiny details on the top of the tongue here to, the laces inside the insoles, so everything about that is cool. Well, everything about that is kind of nice, at least a nice detail. And, they really went above and beyond. And I don't think I really showed you guys enough on the Ultra Ultimates exactly like how much into detail they went with making sure that each, like everything is completely reversed besides like the black on like the tongue and the upper and whatnot. So we're gonna go ahead and move the box out of the way here. And just to show you guys real quick, it's the same exact bag that came in the Puma Ultra Ultimate box. And I believe in a few pairs of the limited edition Pumas we dropped the other day that they all had this exact bag as well. So I'm not sure if this is just the generic bag they put in everything or if it's just their limited edition boots or what the whole deal is, because I'm not super versed on Puma yet. I'm still kind of learning. This has really been the first couple pairs I've ever worn from Puma in the last, I don't know, 8-9 years. So about the bag, it's nothing crazy. It's just, it feels like a kind of a different material than the Nike and Adidas bags, but it's almost the same. And to be honest, there's nothing really special about it. It's just got that Puma logo and the faster football. So nothing crazy there. If we get to it further, the unboxing here, you can see that I went with the MG sole plate, and this is Puma's version of the AG sole plate, because if you didn't know, they actually market all of their FG boots as FG/AG. So it's kind of interesting that they came out with the MG, and I don't really hate it. The MG's been around for a long time. I sourced a pair of these like really old boots called Adikestras for a friend of mine, and she really likes those boots, but they had this weird like conical, like tons of studs just like this. And I wasn't really sure if she'd want them, but she liked them. And it turns out it's called the MG sole plate. And so it's been around for a while. I've kind of just starting to see these pop up on Pumas myself. And it's good for turf. I'm probably gonna only wear these on turf. You can probably even use it for like a hard packed, like Sunday league pitch. Maybe you play down south or somewhere where there's not a lot of rain. It's a super hot day. Ground is basically just solid dirt. You know the fields I'm talking about. And this is gonna just be good because the studs are not very long, but you'll still get enough traction and kind of disperse the weight and kind of just like the pressure around the sole plate more instead of just like on 4 studs here and then 5 to like 9 or 10 studs like a normal football boot. So good for both. Probably only wear these on turf just because I don't really have like a hard packed like pitch like that to play on at the moment, or I probably won't just because these are kind of a nicer boot, but just something I think I wanted to try. I'll probably get another pair of the Puma Futures and do a FG/AG sole plate review on them, but I wanted to get this colorway, and the fact that it came with the MG sole plate, I just figured I might as well try these out. So yeah, pretty excited about that. They also come with the power tape technology, and you actually had power tape on the Puma Ultra Ultimate as well. It was actually down here in like the heel and like come up from the back of the sole plate up to the heel. I didn't find it really did anything. Maybe this will. I think it's supposed to help with stability, maybe anchoring the boot to your foot a bit more so you can maybe even just wear them without laces. I'm not entirely sure. I don't really think that it's going to make a big difference. Most of these technologies that these companies are coming out with lately just seem like they haven't really done anything. I would argue that the grip knit from the Phantom GX is an exception to that because it did really help with the grip, but I mean, besides that, I really don't think this is gonna do much. I don't think it's gonna be a game changer. It's like something that's gonna be like, hey, you need to buy this boot because of this power tape. I also don't think you're gonna be like, this power tape sucks. I hate this boot because of it. I don't wanna wear it. So at least in that aspect. But I mean, other than that, it's still a really good looking boot. Still excited to try it so far. As for sizing, I decided to go with an 8.5 instead of my usual 9, and I did this after talking to a few guys I know, especially like Noah Kavanaugh and stuff. The Puma Future, you can actually go down half a size in, so So I've heard, and so that's what I'm gonna do. I don't know exactly how I'll feel about that, whether there'll be too much space in the toe, whether it'll be too tight. I am someone who floats between an 8.5 and a 9 in most boots, so I'm sure that I could probably have made a 9 work, but I wanted to try the 8.5 just to try to get more snug fit, as that's how I prefer my boots. I don't like any room in the toe or anything like that. So yeah, definitely went with an 8.5, and I'll kind of let you guys know at the end of this video after I've tried them out what my final thoughts are on that. But you know, for the most part, I don't really think there's too much more to go over about this boot. I think we've hit, you know, the basics. You know, it still has the knit upper like the normal Futures do. There's no real big change there. It does feel like, though, actually one thing I did want to talk about, I put my hand in these, and you know, it feels like there's a ton of extra padding that starts right, let me see if I can find my hand in there. So right from here all the way around and the entire like insole, not inside the like toe box area. It's not up here where the knit is, but anywhere else there just feels like there's extra cushion. So I don't know, maybe that would have kept me at a 9. We'll see how this cushion does. I am interested to see, because I don't really like when boots are packed full of padding. I think the padding needs to be on the outside of the boot. You know, when you think of leather boots, there's not extra leather on the inside. At least I don't think that's how they're constructed. You know, so, you know, you get all your padding on the outside, and it just provides a better touch that way. And so we'll see kind of how I feel about that on the inside as well. But, you know, overall, you know, I don't really think I have much else to say after that. I know I just said that, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and, you know, kind of just turn the camera off. I'm gonna go out and train today over the next week and just kind of let you guys know my thoughts. Only thing I'm really curious about is this MG sole plate and its performance, and I guess like I just mentioned, that padding, but you know, I really don't care much for the power tape. I'm not really gonna be looking to see if it is a negative or a positive, just because the power tape I had in the heel on the Ultras just felt, it didn't do anything. Like, why was it there? So without that, I'm gonna let you guys go. I'm gonna go ahead and try these on feet, and I'll get back with you guys. Hey guys, real quick, before we go any further into this video, make sure you check out our website, haltsboots.com, where we have tons of boots ranging from retro to the newer models. So head over there, use discount code YouTube for 5% off your next purchase. All right guys, so it's been about a week and a half since I last did the unboxing on these. Tried them out, I don't know, 6-7 times maybe, and we're just gonna go ahead and jump right into it. I know I'm not gonna waste any more of your guys' time, and we're gonna start with the sole plate. All right, I moved the lighting around so you can see the sole plate, so sorry about that, but at least you can see the sole plate well. I really did like this MG sole plate. I think it is very nice to the common AG we see, where, you know, you still got the 4 in the back and then just more conical studs. Having super short studs and a ton of them, and then adding a bunch, you know, obviously with none in the arch here, I didn't have an issue there. It is more of a like a flat sole plate, but it performed really well, to be honest. And I really liked it. I did not have a single issue with it whatsoever. I did not have any snags, any problem cutting, pivoting, turning on turf. I played on really nice turf. I played on some not so great turf and some just kind of like okay turf. So didn't really play on really bad turf, but I think these would have done really well. And you know, I definitely think you should pick up a pair of these, or at least a pair of boots with the MG sole plate. I think I learned that Mizuno does it as well. I might be wrong, I think they do. So if you want to try this MG sole plate, I suggest right off the bat that you do. It was super comfortable. All these conical studs were perfect, and it performed. Probably the best performing tech or thing about this boot, I'm gonna say, is this sole plate right here. Moving on to lockdown, I really think that these boots have one of the best lockdowns I've tried recently, I guess, in the last, I don't know, all these boots up here are the ones we've reviewed so far for the most part, and I think this definitely takes the cake so far. This is probably the most snug boot I've worn, and I know I said I went down half a size to 8.5 instead of 9, but I mean, that's, if you ever go down half a size, your boot's probably gonna fit snug, but that's one thing that definitely happened, and it's not a negative at all. I think it performed well, and at least in that aspect of hugging my foot. I don't know if it was the power tape. Maybe it was, maybe it is that, hey, Charles, they are, you know, hugging your feet and have really good lockdown because of the power tape. I don't know. Personally, I didn't feel any like special like lockdown on the outside because of this power tape, but hey, maybe it did make a difference. I guess I'll leave that up to your guys' speculation, or if you want to get a pair and try it. For me, I'm still gonna say it didn't feel like it did anything, but you know, other than that, you know, this boot you could definitely wear without laces. You know, the laces add an extra, you know, just a little bit of tight sensation, kind of just, you know, even making the boot fit your foot even more and kind of really keeping your foot in there. But you know, for someone who myself warms up with boots that are unlaced, this is the perfect boot to do that with. You don't have to worry about any sort of like foot slippage when you're like a normal boot that has a tongue. I mean, you know, this doesn't have a tongue. It's got a one-piece upper, but no pivoting issues at all when I had them on feet. Nothing like that with the laces undone. Get the laces tight on there, even better. So lockdown for me is probably one of the best performances of. It's probably the best performing boot in terms of lockdown that I've had so far. Now, in terms of the upper, it actually does have some, if you can, I really don't think you'll be able to see this here, but it's got tons of rubber pieces all over the boot, kind of like most boots do nowadays. It's kind of similar to the Puma Ultra, but not quite. They're different shaped and they're almost spiked like the Mutator or Freak, but not as aggressive. Like if you just cut the spike off and there's just a little like mold left or like a little nub left, that's kind of what all these are. And I really thought that was super minimal on the boot. I forgot to point it out in the unboxing, which is totally my fault. That's on me. But you know, nothing really standing out there to me, to be honest. Nothing screaming like, hey, this technology works. But I did like the upper overall. I do like the knit upper end style of the Puma Ultra. I'm not one who likes a very high cut boot at all. So having this kind of like mid cut, I think that's what this is, like a mid cut. I know they even make a low cut version of this, which is for some reason impossible to find of this model, not this color, but it was okay. And it, you know, it is comfortable for the most part. Sorry about that, my camera cut out. This boot has the same texture feel of Nike Skin, I would say. So kind of something similar to like if you touch the top of a Vapor or Superfly. I would say it even resembles the Speed Portal texture in terms of just touch, like feel and touch if you just put your hand on it. It does not actually have the same synthetic material as the Speed Portal, thankfully, because I'm not a fan of that, but it is kind of like a more softer synthetic material, and it does have that padding on the inside, which I will talk about in a minute when I talk about like the fit and overall performance of the boot. But you know, it's just okay. It's different. I definitely think that if you took that padding out, it would be better. I think the padding, when I get into it, is something that really took away from this boot for me. And I would say, you know, without the padding, this upper would be a lot better. I think that touch, like you can kind of see it, it's a little bit more malleable, and when you like push it up and stuff and fold it down, it doesn't really, I don't really know if you can see it, but it doesn't really do the same thing that normal synthetic boots do and just fold kind of in one area. It's kind of more almost like a not quite like a blanket, almost like a down comforter or something. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what I'm going with. So overall, just an okay upper. It did have a good touch on the ball. Nothing's like super crazy if you have a leather, like K-leather upper or calfskin leather upper, or I don't know, just like a plush, like F50 tongue type feel on the ball. But it, you know, you can still feel it just like a normal knit boot. And so it didn't take away from the boot, it didn't add to the boot. I would just say the upper is there, and that's about it. And now we move on to fit, and here's really where this boot is gonna take some hits from me. And I do have a wide foot. I did go down half a size. Going down half a size is not a problem. If we talk about fit of this boot, I'm gonna recommend that you at least try on in a store half a size down and let me know how you feel. I actually ordered this boot in a 9 on accident, thinking I ordered an 8.5 because I ordered them from Unisport and got the UK sizing mixed up when I ordered it. Put the 9 on, and that's how I realized, hey, that this is a little too big. So I would say you're okay with going down 8.5 for this boot, but here's where it really starts to take a toll is these killed my feet, and I mean absolutely destroyed my feet the first 3 sessions I wore them. And I'm talking killing my feet. Mid-session, I had to sit down, unlace these boots, take them off in the middle of a passing drill because they hurt that bad, and walk in my socks on the turf, back to my bag and grab, I think like a pair of 11 Pros or Vapors or something, whatever I had in my bag, and wear those instead of these because I could not like find any sort of comfort in these. Maybe that was because I did happen to wear them, you know, right out of the box in the first, second, and third training session. There was no individual training session, no kind of like wearing them around to try to stretch them out a little bit, nothing straight on the feet. But dude, this boot has for some reason killed my feet. And when I told a few people about it, they were really surprised because this boot is supposed to be a bit more comfortable. And dude, I don't know what it was. After that third session of having to take them off, I was ready to about stop wearing these altogether and just kind of throw the towel and dunk on them in the review. But I gave them a few more chances. I was able to play a couple games of pickup and a couple like just 6-a-side games in these, and I didn't have any issues after that last session of putting them on hurting. So maybe that stretched them out. Maybe my feet were just inflamed from wearing 7 different pairs of boots a week or whatever. But After that, it got a lot better. It did, like I said, have that snug feel. I don't know if the issue with my feet hurting was just the padding and everything kind of just compressing on my foot. I do have a super high arch, and this is a pretty flat sole plate. There's no real arch in this boot at all. I mean, even if you take this insole out, like it looks like there is, but I promise you, there's no support for having a high arch in here. It's basically flat on the inside. So I'm gonna chalk it up to that. I don't know if anybody else has had this issue. Anybody I've talked to says they love this boot. They go down half a size, no issues there. Maybe it was just a personal thing, but for me, that really sucked, and it was really hard to want to keep wearing this boot, even though it is a really cool color and it does have that MG sole plate. I was ready to throw in the towel. Thankfully, I didn't, and thankfully, I was able to wear them, 5-6 times more, or 4 or 5 times, how many times I wore them more without pain, and get an actual good feel for this boot and how I like it. But I don't know what the issue was. It could be my feet were hurting, inflamed. It could just been the padding on the inside, which I don't like about this boot. That's another thing I don't like, is that padding. Again, I like my padding on the outside of the boot, not the inside. I just like a flush inside, where if you were to rub your hand, the entire inside of like the upper, it's just smooth, or whatever, like a suede or nylon material, whatever's on the inside, that's how I prefer my boots. So again, not sure if it was the padding. I'm gonna maybe blame it on padding, but other than that painful try on period, it was better, and I'm not gonna say super comfortable. It didn't hurt my feet after that, and I was able to get by. So maybe it's just me. Just be wary when you're buying these at all. Like, maybe it'll hurt your feet. I do have super wide feet, but again, that's not even where they were hurting. Like, I forgot to say, but it was my entire foot. So it's not just like the outsides. Usually when you get your typical, like, I have wide feet, the pain's on the side here. No, I'm talking the whole bottom of the foot, the arch, the heel, the entire side of my foot ringing, and top of my toes even. So sorry for ranting about that, but it really sucked, and I really hated that. So really the only true negative thing I have to say about this boot. So that's pretty much it. That's all I have. Overall, this boot was just okay. It could have been better, and maybe it would have got a better rating from me if it wasn't for that painful try-on period, because again, I have to go the ratings off my personal experience, not off what I've heard about the boot. So I'm giving it a flat 7 out of 10, which I think is maybe a bit generous. It definitely was a solid boot overall, just that try-on period. I didn't think these plastic studs did anything, the power tape did anything. One reason that it really gets a buff from me in terms of the rating though, and why I was okay with the 7 out of 10, is the durability of this boot, at least for the Puma Future, if you want to compare it to other silos on the Puma, like the Puma Ultra. Yeah, the Puma Ultra. The Puma Ultras fell apart, and these were the same price. Actually, the Puma Ultras cost more, and I get that it's a lighter weight boot. For some reason, they charge more money for lighter weight boots, but this boot held together well. And if you're someone who really wants to start trying out Puma boots, I'm gonna suggest you try out the Puma Future first. Regardless of the issues I had trying them on, you're gonna get your money's worth out of these, at least from what I can tell. I only wore them on turf. They, got banged up. You can see a little bit of wear on the sole plate and stuff, but there's no signs of separation literally anywhere on either boot, even from how I drag my foot when I play. The Puma, I don't even know where I put my Ultras, but you can start to see the separation everywhere on those. So that's one thing that does get a huge props from me, is the durability of this boot so far. Again, it didn't go through a whole 3-4 week cycle of trainings and games and everything like that. But just from what I've seen from most boots these days, this one has held together, at least out of the Puma boots and control boots, if you will, held together the best. And that's why it got high rated for me. So if we break it down, fit 8.5 for me. So go down half a size if you're trying this boot out. I'm recommending, don't quote me on it. So if you get the wrong size, don't get angry at me. I'm just saying that's my experience. Love the MG sole plate. Definitely need to try the MG sole plate if you haven't already. Durability is great. However, the try-on period for me was really awful. It was really painful, so that's kind of where it goes. So overall, again, the rating is 7 out of 10, and that's where I'm gonna leave. So thanks again for watching, guys. Please leave a comment down below and let me know if you've worn these yet, if you've had the same painful experiences. Again, I really do like talking to you guys in the comments and kind of seeing who has what opinions, who thinks what opinions are valid and what's not, how you think about my reviews and everything like that. So again, just drop me a comment down below. I'll respond and we can kind of just chat a bit more about these boots. And with that, guys, I'm gonna leave you. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next review.